All right, yeah, so these are the original boilers, 1952. Right now, we got one that's offline because one of the mud drums on the side is rotted, and we cannot get one anywhere. The manufacturer was making them prior to the pandemic, but they fell behind on manufacturing, and we just can't get one. So we're going to try and get by on one boiler this winter, you know, for the remainder of the school year, which shouldn't be a problem. But they're, you know, cast iron steam boilers. And the heating system in here is still pneumatic, pneumatic thermostats and heating valves. The new additions are hot water, forced hot water, so we got a heat exchanger up top that will video so people can see where the steam exchanges over to hot water. And we just replaced one of those heat exchangers a few years ago due to its age, and that tank rotted out as well. So 2 circ pumps up top that feed the hot water system. And also the main electric room is right up top here. We'll take a walk up and look at those as well. But this boiler room here, it fills up with water. We got 2 sump pumps over in the corner. We've had a dry summer this year, so this is the first time in 25 years I've been here. I haven't heard them running. So, but normally there's always water on the floor. So, but we'll take a walk up. So this is the mud drum here that needs to be replaced that we can't get right now. You can see it's all rotted.
Oh my God! Look at that.
Yeah. So the North Street School has the same exact boilers. We did replace one of the boilers about 5 or 6 years ago, just due to this same issue. But the other one was in a lot worse condition than this.
This tank is another one of the things they want.
Yeah, this is.
I thought it was pretty funny that they have a brick there because it leaks.
No, there was a drip up here.
Oh, that's what it is. What does it do?
So this is the condensate return tank.
Okay.
So all the condensation in the steam system returns back to this tank and then gets pumped back into the boiler. The schools are filled underneath, have these tunnels that run through the building. And another part of the video, after we do this area, we'll show you the fan, how it sends the heat through the building from the boiler room. But this is one of the tunnels that feeds the gym in classrooms 1 and 2. There's quite a bit of tunnels in this building. It's where all the heat lines, electrical runs, sewer lines, everything runs through these tunnels. So these are the circ pumps that come off of the heat exchanger, which is behind all the piping over there. So the steam comes up in the heat exchanger, converts the steam into hot water through a city water feed, and then these pumps pump it through to the newer additions in the building. We had one pump fail 2 years ago. We had to replace the whole thing, base and all. Obviously, we reused the motor because that was still good. So this is how the newer editions, the 57 edition, gets heated by hot water, opposed to steam like the rest of the building. And as you can see right here, we still got pneumatic valves that operate the building off the thermostats. Those are throughout the building, in the tunnels. So not easy access to get to. So that's pretty much, that's our heating system, from the boilers to the heat exchangers. And then through the rest of the building, it goes out pipes to heating valves like this one here.
the current standard in the new building, I assume, is all digital controls,
Yes,
right?
it's all DDC control,
Right?
yeah.
So these are literally tubes through which vacuum or whatever has to flow to every point, et cetera.
It's just air, so,
And they don't have a lot of feedback and other things.
no,
so-
no, you can't see what's going on with this, other than if the room is too hot or too cold. First thing you do is come down and check this here. A lot of times the diaphragm that's up in the top dry rots and leaks, then the room overheats. So, and we've been replacing a lot of these in these two buildings over the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. A lot of them have been failing. Fortunately, we can still get them. We have a contract with a company that's part of our contract, so when they do fail, they replace them as
Okay.
part of the contract. It doesn't cost us any money.
Good,
So,
that was smart.
yeah, yeah. But once you get into DDC controls, it's a whole different ballgame as far as contracts and costs, and you know, a lot of the controls aren't covered under the contract. It's an additional cost, you know. So it gets pretty expensive. The transformers for the building used to be in that room right there. Transformers that you see out in the poles for homes and businesses. Used to be 3 of them in there, because we've got 208 3-phase in the building. And about 15 years ago, one of the transformers failed. National Grid decided we're going to move the transformers out of the building outside, which they did. North Street still has 3 transformers inside the vault, inside the building,
Okay,
which is dangerous.
is it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, think about it, you see one explode out on a pole, it explodes. One of them fail in here, they explode inside this vault. So that's our main disconnect. That comes from outside the building now, rather than in that vault that was over there. And then it comes over here to our distribution panel. And each one of these feeds all the sub panels upstairs. Old technology. And then we got a sub panel over here for the kitchen. That one's actually both of these are kitchen. And then these feed a couple of the main panels upstairs. Those 2 disconnects. And this is the main electric room. So the fan's off right now because we just changed this pillar block bearing. So this fan, what it does, the last hallway we were just in, this fan blows the air through that tunnel and through the tunnel over here that we're going to walk out to. So there's 2 steam coils there. Boiler heats the steam, sends it to these coils. This fan blows the heat, pulls in outside air from that set of louvers there, from outside through those filters in here, sends it back out into the school. So it mixes 100% outside air with the warm air from the coils. Sends it down the hallways, and we'll just come out here. Down there, it's hard to see these, but what happens is the fan blows the air out into the hallways and up through these holes in these floor beams. So these travel all the way across, say, the cafeteria and down the hall. The air comes up through a reheat coil in the space and then out into the classroom. So it's heated here, goes through the floor, then reheated again out into the learning space, cafeteria, classroom.
Is the reheat on a thermostat?
The reheat's on a thermostat, and that's where the pneumatic valves are.
Okay. And where does the reheat come from? Steam boilers? So it
Yes.
turns it into hot
Yep.
water and it
Yep.
goes into the reheat?
Yep. So all the classrooms and all the spaces have heating coils, steam coils that go, they're right along the windows with vents. That fan blows the air from here with fresh air from outside through those filters into the fan, through the hall, the spaces here, through the floor, through the reheat coil.
And you're always running 100% outside?
Always 100%. this is where the condensate from the boiler actually drains down into this drum in all the sections. There's 13 sections in this boiler. So each section has a drain, so the condensate comes down into the mud drum, goes back to the condensate return tank, and then gets pumped back into the boiler.
And is there literally like particles of crap in there?
Yeah, it's just, you know, how hard the water is here and everything over the years, you know. But this is the original mud drum. A lot of times these nipples right here, these have been replaced numerous times. And believe it or not, our guy that works on this, he could actually replace these. He's that good.
Wow.
The problem is this. And prior to the pandemic, we could get those.
Huh.
Now we can't get them. He's even tried, he reached out to school systems that were tearing the school down to try and get the mud drum from that boiler that they were gonna just rip out of the school.
Right.
And nobody has it. There's none around that's in good a shape to actually reuse.
Oh, wow.
So right now we're running off this boiler, which thank God, you know, carried the load of the whole building. So this used to be our pump controllers here and our alarms, but the water seeps out of the foundation and rotted out our control panel. So we relocated the controls up into these panels.
Wow.
So
these have replaced the ones down there that look like
right.
maybe. Do we always install 2 boilers so you have a 100% backup?
Redundancy, yeah.
Okay.
You know, if you get a real cold winter. So there is some pumps down here as well as the other building, because we get the groundwater that comes up.
So this boiler is only 7 years old.
6 years old, about. Yeah.
If we want spitball on it, this boiler should be adequate if the rest of the system would work.
Right.
Right?
But I do know one of the heat exchangers up there for the hot water part of the building has failed. So we're only running on one heat exchanger right now.
Okay.
And they're so expensive. I'm trying not to spend the money on replacing it. It's just because we'll just be throwing it away at this point, you know.
Right.
That's why we're going to try and get by with one boiler at each school. You know, I'm fairly confident we'll be fine. Try to do the
anything
repairs.
short of a catastrophic failure, you're not going to be down
Right.
for any period of time.
Yep. So we can go up top again. Our heat exchangers right here. The one on the bottom was replaced. That one is not working. The one on the top. And then we'll crawl under here. Just watch your backs on this. Here's actually part of the old heat exchanger that we replaced. Correct, yep. Yep. And then, there they are.
It's like an empty room.
Transformers are inside the building. All 3 of them.
So useful life on a transformer?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I mean, there's probably some out there that are 50 or more years old, I would imagine. Square D disconnect, the main shutdown of the power in the school.
So that's the 1952 disconnect?
Yeah.
Okay.
And our distribution panel to all the sub panels.
So here's a question for you. Have they significantly improved them since 1952?
Oh, yeah, it's all different.
Because, you know, a lot of times it's like, it's newer, but it's not better.
Yeah, well, we haven't had an issue with it, so that tells you something there.
Yeah.
Hear the fan shut down? That
Yep.
feeds these fans. And then this one's a water heater, and then these go to the panels in the hallways upstairs.
big version of your circuit breaker.
Yeah, panels here and some disconnects. I think these are for the newer wings, the addition wings, those two there.
Right.
That panel's for the kitchen. There is also a newer sub panel up in the kitchen as well, just because we ran out of power and had more, so there was a pile of block on the floor and stuff. But as far as power in these buildings, I mean, we're pretty much maxed out in here for power. You know, these holes. And these here, you're supposed to slide them to adjust the airflow, you know.
So are they more open down at the far end?
They're all wide open.
They're all wide open, so this gets more heat than the other end.
More than the other school? No, no,
The other end.
no, it all blows up pretty much the same.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty good. Yeah, you can film this. This is the filter wall here. It's where the fresh air comes in from outside through the filters, then into the system. Those are all, last year we started, those are MERV 13 filters too, yeah. Like a turbine. So you got your steam coils, and your heating valves, right here. Steam coils, heating valves. Steam trap right there, another steam trap.